Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the For Busy Moms Fitness, Nutrition, Mindset, and Accountability community. Welcome back. We are here on the first Thursday of each month at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, in this group, we have people from all over the country here. So, I always like to say what time we meet. Same time every single month. The only time that may not happen is if a holiday falls on a Thursday. So, for instance, Thanksgiving, make sure to check the group for our different monthly live time. So, as we jump in here, I wanted to welcome all of the newbies who have jumped in within the last month. If you have jumped in the last month, make sure to check your inbox for a welcome message from me, just kind of reaching out, welcoming you, and asking you some questions on what made you jump into the group and what types of stuff that you would like to see inside this group. It is a completely free group, and all I want to do is offer value to you. So, today, based on some of the conversations I've had with you guys in the previous month, our topic today is about how to create that summer wellness action plan that is going to balance your fitness, your nutrition, some self care, and keep it fun because it is summertime. So many of you either have kids who got out of school last week or tomorrow is your last day of school. So, what that typically means is there is some sort of transition period. And that's going to be, for some of you, it could be just a few days. For some of you, it could take up to a month, depending on how many kids you have, how good of a game plan you had going into it, those sorts of things. So, we're going to break these down into fitness, nutrition, water, and then that self care time is going to be our 4 buckets today that we're going to cover. A few things before we get into today's training is number one, make sure to check out the Empower Her Wellness podcast on all platforms that you listen to your podcasts. On there, we've got a bunch of different tips and tricks and episodes that I've created. Every other week, we have a solo episode of me diving into that exercise and nutrition and accountability and habit portion. And then on the opposite weeks, we also have another episode coming out with a guest. This week's episode that just dropped today is with our sleep expert, Kelly Meyerson, and we dove into that mid 3 a.m. wake up in the middle of the night when you just can't seem to go back to sleep, why it's happening, and how to fix it. So if you are that person, I am more of that person. Make sure to tune in and listen to that episode. If you're like, I'm not that person, I can't fall asleep, go and check out last week's episode. We had a 2-part series with Kelly this past week, and it was super fun because we got to dive into both areas where people tend to struggle the most. So, finally, before we jump into today's training, I wanted to let you know that last week we had yesterday, we had our first in-person summer strength training boot camp. We had 14 women sign up for the boot camp for the first session, and we had 12 of them show up yesterday. 2 had other conflicts with it being the last week of school. So super awesome turnout. Session 1 is officially closed. You can't sign up for the entire session, but if you want to drop in, you are more than welcome to. I'll make sure to leave the information in the show notes above or also in the comments below. So make sure to check both those places. And then finally, you guys, I promise I will only say this for a couple more months. Facebook has changed what they are doing with live videos. So live videos are super awesome because I go live, you actually get notified, you actually get told when something is happening. Well, after 30 days, Facebook's going to take this live video down. But don't worry, because if you didn't have a chance to watch or you're like, I want to go back and watch or whatever that is, we put everything on YouTube. So I'll make sure to drop the link to the Morgan Akovich channel in the comments below so you can go check that out. Watch all of our previous trainings because everything is stored in there and is really easily searchable. So let's dive into it. If you are here and you're tuning in, make sure to drop in the comments. Let us know you're here, who you are, where you're from, and what made you tune into today's training. So first thing we're starting with is that fitness. So number one thing that you want to do, and really we're calling this your summer action plan, but in reality, this goes for any transition in season of stage of life, things like that. So first thing is you want to make sure that you are scheduling your workouts. Put them on the calendar, make it known, tell somebody else you are doing the thing, whether it's a walk, a bike ride, a stretch, a class, whatever it is. Speak it out loud and put it on the calendar each week. So set time aside either on Saturday or Sunday to plan your upcoming week. We do a lot of plan tomorrow today when we work one-on-one together. So getting you in preparation for that every week, sitting down and planning that week as best as you can, and knowing that it needs to be flexible. So, for instance, if you are like, I am going to walk on Monday, strength train on Wednesday, and do a yoga class on Friday. So, the class you probably have to sign up for. So, that one's going to be you're probably going to more likely show up for that, and you're going to be less likely to blow it off. But the walk and the strength training that you're maybe doing at home, you are going to typically push it back and forth. Oh, I got busy, I'll do it later. We tend to fall into that, especially in the summer. So, what I always recommend is when you plan it as early in the day as you can, so that if for some reason it does get pushed, you have more time to push it. Whereas if it's a 7 p.m. workout and it gets pushed, it's not happening. It's literally just not going to happen because you're not going to stay up till 10 or 11 and get the workout done. No, you're just going to say, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. But you don't actually reschedule it for tomorrow is the issue. So, always on the days when you are going to be doing workouts on your own, put them as early in the day as you are allotted. I know not everybody is a morning person, but plan it mid morning if you're able to. It doesn't have to be this whole 30 minutes or an hour. It can be as simple as 10 to 15 minutes, a quick little AMRAP or EMON. Very simple, to the point, full body workout, things like that. So, as you are creating these, think about what does your schedule actually allow? And that is the thing that we tend to get caught up in is we think, okay, it's summer, we have all this time, and we don't actually look at that calendar that I was telling you about. Well, when we look at the calendar, you may notice that really you're running kids around to sports that you only really have 2 days with decent blocks of time where you can get in the workout that you want. On, then plan for just those. Anything extra you do is extra. It's a bonus. It's the cherry on top. So making sure that you are planning and you are also being flexible with it because it is summer and it is going to be fun. The other thing when it comes to workouts is get outside as much as possible. I know for myself, I know I've got this big window here and it's super great, but I get tired to do my workouts inside. So I typically move all of my stuff out to the garage. I'll do it out in the driveway, things like that. I will get outside because it makes it more fun. I typically sweat a little bit more because of the humidity and the heat, and I feel better. So, knowing that in the summer, I'm taking advantage of that. If you're somebody who is always inside at the gym walking, instead of walking on the treadmill, go walk outside. See nature, be outside, enjoy that. That's going to switch it up. It's also going to make it more fun. You can ask a friend to come, get some coffee, turn it into an event or an experience rather than this thing you have to do. Quick, effective workouts, AMRAPs, as many rounds as possible. So, what that looks like is setting a timer. 10 minutes is a really great starting point. Set a timer for 10 minutes, pick 3 to 4 exercises, pick how many reps you're going to do for those exercises, and go through that circuit as many times as you can till that 10-minute timer goes off. Here's the key though, is in that 10-minute timer, you can take however many or no rest that you would like. What I recommend is after each round, take a quick breather and then go back into it, knowing that it's only 10 minutes of work. So it's definitely going to be higher intensity. That's how it's supposed to be. If you do a 20-minute AMRAP, that's much longer, then you can kind of take longer breaks and space it out. EMONs, every minute on the minute. So what that looks like is essentially setting a timer for 10 minutes again. And in that first minute, pick 2 exercises, 2, maybe 3, depending on the type of exercise and how quickly you have to transition between them. For instance, 5 jumping jacks, 10 squats, 10 deadlifts, something simple like that. In that first minute, you want to get through those exercises. If that only takes you 40 seconds, you have a 20-second rest before the top of the next minute hits, then you do the same thing over again. The hard part about these is if you're not really sure how long it takes you to do something, it can be a little weird to say, oh, I have 3 exercises. But as you get through 4 or 5 rounds, you may notice you need more rest time. So you can always skip a minute, give yourself a full minute, and then get back into it. So those are some really awesome options. If you're somebody who's like, I hate summer because I hate the heat, I don't want to work out outside. I know some of my clients are that way. And get up in the morning, do them early or do them after dinner when the sun's gone down and it's a little bit cooler. Take advantage of the weather when you can. And Also, maybe it's going to be about incorporating water-based exercise. So maybe it's water aerobics, maybe it's swimming laps at the pool with the kids, or just walking, things like that. So be creative this summer. It's going to be fun. Don't make it something that you have to do. Make it something that you get to do to continue to make yourself stronger. And then you can always join us on Wednesdays from 5:30 to 6:15 p.m. for our summer strength training boot camp. Like I said, session 1 is fully booked except for we have a few spots for drop-ins each week. So check the information above and below for that, and you can also just send me a message if you have any more questions specifically. So moving on to nutrition, things that I want you to remember is summer is not the time to re-jump on that hamster wheel of I'm going to try to find a new diet. I'm going to lose all this weight. I'm going to be in the best shape of my life in the next 30 days. No, it's all about making those small, sustainable, maintainable changes that will last a lifetime. So, yes, it's going to take a while. You are not going to hit that goal weight by next week when you plan to go to the beach with your friends. Not happening. Just like start getting that out of your mind. And if that does happen, it's because you're doing it in a healthy way that's not going to be sustainable or maintainable. And you're going to go right back up. So, things that I want you to focus on this summer are making sure you're getting that palm sized serving of protein at every single meal. Check out the podcast, the Empower Her Wellness podcast, for some episodes on how to use your hands to measure our food, to really get a sense of, am I getting enough? Am I having too much? Really start using it as a visualization tool. The other thing is have grab and go snacks. Have a cooler in your fridge that ideally are there for grab and go. Like, hey, we're running out the door. We have quick, healthy snacks that we can take with us. There's maybe some cooler packs in there. Same thing in your pantry. Also, this may be a good time to reset up your fridge and set up your pantry for the kids of like, hey, these bins right here are free range. Eat as much of these as you want. I know as kids grow, they tend to eat all of the time and want all the things. Well, think about it. If everything they are going for is at eye level and they're items that are not going to fuel their body and give them the energy they need, we want to take those items and move them higher and put anything that they will typically grab or that we need them to grab at eye level or a little below. Same thing goes for us. If we walk into the pantry and we see the sweets at eye level, but then we see and like beef sticks and other things up above, we're not looking above. We're looking at eye level and we're like, okay, we'll just grab that. So you want to think about that. The same goes for in the grocery store. Anything at eye level, they have paid for that marketing because it's most likely to be grabbed. So the same thing goes when we're in your house, when you're in your fridge, things like that. If you know vegetables are going to go bad, take them out of those drawers and actually put them on the shelf so you can see them. Focusing on getting vegetables every single day, at least one fist size serving, one fist, nothing crazy. I know some days it's harder than others, but be intentional. If you can get a palm size serving of protein at each meal and at least one fist size serving of vegetables, and you are ready to take the next step, send me a message or drop step in the comments below and I'll reach out to you and we will come up with that next step. And finally, my last food tip, especially when it comes to summer and going out on the boat and being by the water and going to these events and the 4th of July, is do not skip breakfast and lunch and hold out for your calories at dinner time. Don't just say, oh, well, we're having a big meal. We have a barbecue later. I'm just not going to eat. Don't save your calories. Because what will happen is you will end up getting to the end of the day. You're going to end up overeating and most likely you will overconsume. Whereas if you would have had a little breakfast, little lunch, maybe a snack in there and gone into the barbecue feeling satisfied and excited to try some of these good foods that you don't get to have on a normal basis, you will have more self-control. You will consume less calories, your blood sugar will be equal level throughout the day, and you'll be less moody as you're trying to get out the door of like trying to get to that place with all of the kids. So it's really important that we are not just like, oh, I'm going somewhere later, I'm going to save all of them. Don't save them. Eat as normally as possible. But if you know you're going to have a bigger meal tonight, maybe just eat a smaller portion. Instead of, for me, sometimes if I know we're going to go do a big lunch, but I need something in the morning, instead of my 2 pieces of sourdough with goat cheese and 2 eggs and egg whites, I'll do 2 eggs, egg whites, 1 piece of toast, and some goat cheese. I'll make that just a little bit smaller because I'll know, okay, I don't need to be as full as I typically do for that next meal. And all that comes into listening to our body and starting to get a good sense of what our body needs and things like that. Number three, water. So when it comes to water, making sure you are carrying around your water bottle this summer. Get a fun one, put some stickers on it, maybe get a new one, whatever that is that's going to make it fun for you so that you're actually carrying it around. Also, make it reasonable to carry around. This is a 32 ouncer. I also have a 34 ouncer, but 32 ouncer, 34, somewhere in there. I've got to fill this up 3 times to hit my water goal. Maybe your water goal is just over 60 ounces. Remember, for females, we want 60 to 90 ounces of water. That being said, you can aim for one of these before noon and one of these for afternoon. Things like that are really important. Focusing on the water this summer is going to allow you to not stress about all the other things. If you take one thing from today, it's focus on your water. If you are somebody who is drinking a ton of water and you are feeling dehydrated or you just had a big, hot, sweaty workout, you want to make sure that you are replenishing your body with also electrolytes. You can do liquid IVs, elements, drip drop, things like that. Or I just made my own homemade electrolyte earlier this week, and it was 100% pure coconut water, lime juice, and pink Himalayan sea salt. And just did a little bit of that, found a recipe online. It is delicious. It's super refreshing. And I will just kind of sip on that throughout the day. So you can create your own electrolyte or you can buy a powder and add it into your water. And then finally, that self care and making it fun. So, a lot of times when I talk to moms and I talk to women in summertime, they're like, it's summer. I'm going to do less. I'm not going to schedule as much, all of that. Well, great, but we still need to have some sort of schedule and calendar, or the water, the nutrition, the workouts, they just don't get done. So, as you go into the summer, really have an idea of what is that bare minimum that I want to do for myself because I know it makes me feel good. I'm going to drink water, I'm going to have a vegetable, and I'm going to take one walk a week. Like, create what that looks like for you in your life, and then create an ideal. And then each week, when you plan that upcoming week, decide, what does the week look like? Am I gonna go for that bare minimum that, like, this, I know it's gonna make my body feel good? Or am I gonna go for that ideal schedule where, like, I'm gonna get a few workouts in this week. I'm gonna focus on my vegetables and my protein. And I'm really gonna go over my water goal. Like, somewhere, have that conversation with yourself and ask yourself, share with your partner, and write it down, share with somebody else and say, this is what we're going to do. Perfect. Move forward with it. Because when you have an idea and people know what's happening, then you can make it work. The other thing that I need you to make sure you do, even though you want to live a no calendar summer, is there's moving parts. So, in that planning your upcoming week, making sure that you are sitting down with your family to say, okay, what do we want to accomplish this week as a family? What do you want to do that's fun? What do you want to do that's fun? Can we make it all work? Logistics, are those all in check? Getting ahead of that and taking time, maybe it only takes you 30 minutes, maybe it takes you 2 hours, whatever that looks like, sitting down and doing that on a weekly basis is going to, yeah, it may not be fun in that 30 minutes to 2 hours, but it's going to make the rest of the week awesome because you're going to know what's happening. You're going to know when you have to be where. You're going to know what's your responsibility and what's not. And you can just enjoy and start to find those self care times of, oh, he's taking the kids there. I've got time for a workout. And then I'm going to sit out and read for 5 minutes. Or I'm going to get up and I don't have to get the kids ready today. I'm going to enjoy my coffee. Like, going through and knowing these things ahead of time, what is happening in the week is going to allow you to take an exhale and allow you to add some self care time into your routine. The last little thing that you can do as a family is once a month making sure that you guys all agree on something fun to do as a family. And I think this is really important with kids' camps, with work, with daycare, with maybe the kids are at home with you all day, but like they're having to occupy themselves. There's so many different scenarios. Making sure that once a month you have something fun that you all are looking forward to, and maybe you rotate who gets to choose what that is. So if you have a big family and it's hard to agree, okay, she gets to choose this month and then he gets to choose next month. Like, do a rotating schedule, something simple, but makes it feel super fun and special. So, as we wrap up today, I know we covered a lot, but biggest thing that I want you to think about is just if you want a successful summer for you and your health, you got to get into planning your week, setting yourself up for success, sharing what you need help with, and then from there, you can start to say, I'm going to focus on this and I'm going to take this on. And if you wake up one morning and you are overwhelmed by it all, pick one. Literally pick one thing. Like some days, my only focus is to drink enough water. If I have so much going on, drinking enough water is the only thing I am focusing on. Everything else for myself, I know will happen. We'll worry about it. But today, the water is the only thing I'm focusing on. So, this summer is for you. It's for you, and your health matters. And just because schedules are changing and it may take you a little bit to get into routine, and as soon as you're back in routine, it's going to be a different month and there's going to be a holiday weekend, doesn't mean you have to feel like you are drowning and always trying to get to the top of the water. No, you can have control, you can make it fun, and you can make it about you and your health this summer. So if you have any questions at all, whether you want to join our summer strength training boot camp as a drop-in, you want to talk one-on-one about how I can help you create a successful summer with you in it, you and your health, whatever that looks like, drop steps in the comments below and I will reach out to you. Have a great rest of your Thursday. We will see you next month, first Thursday of each month at noon Eastern Standard Time. Talk to you later.